We're going to use the pen tool to make a repeat pattern. First thing you're going to do is turn on your rulers and go to View. Make sure rulers is checked on. Second thing is right-click the rulers and select pixels. Now my document's already set to 500 by 500, and that's easily divisible by 2. If yours isn't, you can always go to Image and resize. So I'm going to pull out guides on my rulers, one for 250 and one for 250 here, and that just tells me where the center is. Next thing I'm going to do is set a new layer, and I'm going to turn off these other layers. Make sure that you're selected on the new layer. Bring up the pen tool, make sure it's set to shape, make sure there's no fill, and set your stroke to whatever color you'd like. I'm going to leave my stroke at 1 and we'll adjust it here in a second. All you're going to do is draw a randomized shape. It doesn't have to be anything specific, just a closed object. And remember, you can always use the direct selection tool to make changes to the size and shape. If it's something that you don't like, make adjustments to the layer. By selecting it with the direct selection tool, you can now go up and change the stroke width. And I'm just going to bump mine up a little bit. I'm also going to use the regular selection tool to move it a little bit more centrally. Right-click the layer, and rasterize layer. And then we're going to offset this. We're going to use a filter, which is under Other, Offset. And whatever size document you're using, type in half the size, and that's why I use pixels. So half of 500 is 250, and the same with the height and width. Hit OK, and it's offset. I'll show you why this is important in a minute. Next thing I'm going to do is go back to the pen tool, I'm going to go back and use one of my shape tools here. I'm going to use just a hexagon. I'm going to click and pull it out and use the move tool to put it in location I want. I'm going to use the direct selection tool on it to select it and change its weight so it's similar visually. I think I'll scale it up a little bit. Hold down Shift to keep the proportions constrained and hit Enter. Now I have two shapes. I'm deleting my old project that was underneath. So I have these two shape layers. I'm going to right click this one, rasterize it, and then I'm going to shift click the other one to select both, right click again, and merge the layers. So they're all one. The last thing I'm going to do is go up to Image, Canvas Size, change this to %, and make it 200% bigger, both directions. I'm going to zoom out and you'll see why this works. One thing I want to do is turn on Snap, and that's under View. Where you have transparency, you have to make sure that you select on the shape to move it where you want to go. And you can bring it up to the corner. And then I copy my layers by using the Alt Option key, clicking and dragging. This, of course, is with the Move tool enabled. And you can select both layers again by Shift clicking and then Alt clicking to copy them down. You can always use the conventional method, Command C, Command V, or also go up to copy and paste under the edit menu, however you're comfortable copying. I'm going to move my guides off, and you can see this is how I've made a repeat pattern. This is the very basics of digital repeat using the offset filter in Photoshop.